the following headline: Royal Wedding. How Meghan Markle's flowers may have put Princess Charlotte's life at risk. She nearly killed this baby with her flowers, apparently. What's up, airheads? We're back. It's time once again for Puttin on Airs. Two dumbasses talking fancy shit. It's well, I was gonna say it's Thursday. I was about to do my weekly skews intro because I'm all
fine.
frazzled right now. Well, I'll tell you, it's Thursday, June 20th, while we're recording this, in case y'all care to know. So we'll see you tomorrow when this comes out. I'm Trae, and that's Cho. How you doing, Cho?
I'm good, and don't feel bad because my Substackers, the people over at bonuscorey.com, they're very familiar with me accidentally signing off the wrong way when I'm doing like a bonus podcast for them or whatever. I've started to sing the well-read song. I've said "Stay fancy, motherfucker." I've just like, and then also, and you run into this sometimes when remember we used to do like 3 shows on Saturday or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were in that third show. And you've done, and you go, wait, did I do this already?
Dude, I just had that happen in St. Augustine, Florida, and
it's brutal because we are idiots. Our brains are not supposed to handle all this.
It really, because I'm like, I think that actually might be the first time I've ever had that happen, actually.
Because you're a robot.
And it was like, it fucked me up. It didn't really, it ended up being fine, but that totally happened where I was like, no, I haven't done that. That was the first show, but I had actually done that was the thing. I had done it in that same show, and people were like, no, you did that. And I just really hate that. I feel like that's super weird because it breaks the whole immersion of everything. Yeah. Of everything if you do that. So that really bothered me. But the show, I mean, the show still hit for them. Dude. But speaking of getting stuff mixed up, it was on POA recently where we were talking about how you got to admit when people hit or not, regardless of their political beliefs or how you feel about them personally. You can't.
You can think they're a trash person, but you can't go. Well, everything especially when it's someone who has just come out of the closet as being a piece of shit, but before that was a hitter. You can't just all of a sudden go, well, everything they ever did now sucks. That's stupid.
I have an perfect example of that, but it's from the other end of the political
Jefferson
spectrum.
Davis. No. Before the war, man. I'll tell you what. No, I'm kidding.
This is a very egregious example of this. You may have seen it, and if you didn't see it, it's about to piss you off. But that just happened this week. Earlier this week, I saw a whole bunch of red hat MAGA types on the internet, on Twitter and stuff, talking about how Jack Black is a no talent hack who sucks as an actor and has never hit and whatever. Yeah, because Jack Black,
he was their guy because he did broad comedies.
Jack Black did a fundraiser for Joe Biden this weekend in Los Angeles, and there was a little clip from it where he went on stage in American flag overalls, right? Showing out, hitting the way he does, and was just saying, Joe Biden hits for me or whatever. Obviously, he's at a Joe Biden fundraiser. And it was George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Barbara Streisand, real Hollywood elite
what
shit.
All Hollywood people used to do, and people just ignored it and were like, it's the movies.
Right. But Jack Black did it. And then that led to all these people, going on Twitter, acting like Jack Black don't hit. I made a little short video about it because it pissed me off so much because it's
so egregious.
You can't Jack Black might arguably be the most pound for pound talented man in all of Hollywood, frankly. So to act like he don't hit just because you don't like his politics is a particularly egregious example, in my opinion.
Just so people don't think that we're just all of a sudden giving Jack Black his flowers, please tell everybody who I've compared him to. He's the comedy equivalent of blank, in my opinion. For me, it's Tom Petty.
Tom Petty? Yeah.
Yes, it's Tom Petty, which is that only Jack Black, I feel, and Tom Petty got flowers on Earth when he was alive, for sure. But only in Tom Petty's death do I think that the general populace go, God damn, man. He really had some hits. And I think that Jack Black is one of those that has spoiled us with how great he is that we just expect it, that only in his death will people go, my Lord, dude. And I'll tell you this, to go even further, and I'm not kidding, and I'm not kidding. If Jack Black came out the complete opposite and he was a MAGA dude, I would stand on business that hey, this sucks. I wish that he thought differently, But as far as the man's body of work and his talent goes, every head must bow, every tongue must profess. He could have, there's 9 different careers within entertainment that he could have picked to do instead of what he did and killed it.
Yeah. No, yeah. For people that don't know, we've had long time had this thing in the Skew behind the scenes in the Skewniverse, with like the Tom Petty effect or the Tom Petty phenomenon or whatever you want to call it. Because basically we just all agreed that Tom Petty, though an all-time great, the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, universally beloved and everything, all that is like a legend. All that is true, and I still think that he's underrated. And and like that's just how good I think he is. And so that's what Joe means about Jack Black.
Yeah.
Like Jack Black's a superstar, and he is beloved, or at least, he was by everyone until Sunday. But then, but
you can't do those tentpole Jumanji movies and not hit for both political sides. You can't.
Right.
You can't do that. You can't have the career that he had without hitting for everybody.
I brought up in the video, and I know, I'm pretty sure, I think we've talked about it, but not on here, I don't think. But like, everybody knows Jack Black is a funny guy and all this stuff. It's like he carries those Jumanji movies. Him and Tropic Thunder was an absolute comedic tour de force. One of the
playing Chris Farley, one of the only people you can compare him to.
Right. And then, but if anybody thinks that that's it, or he lacks range, or he does his little shtick and that's all, Richard Linklater's movie Bernie from 2011, he's incredible in that movie. I remember I watched that movie while I was still like drinking pretty heavy. And so we
watched it at the same time.
I was having some whiskey watching it, and I went on this drunken Twitter thing about how Jack Black deserves an Academy Award. He's brilliant, all this stuff, because it's like he's incredible in that movie. And he is also funny, but he moves you in that goddamn movie, man.
And lest we forget, Trae, he's also a goddamn rock star with one of the single best voices, that anyone's ever heard. Like, dude, they're funny songs, and like that gets them probably more play. But him and Cage, I've heard them just do regular metal, and it ripped. Like,
not even just metal. There was a video that people defending Jack Black were passing around the other day of him doing. Is it the song "Careless Whisper" where it's like, "What a lovely dream to play," or what, "to make me feel this way"?
No, that's Chris Isaac. It's Chris Isaac.
So what is that called? That's not "Careless." What is that called? It's what evil thing to do? Make me dream of you.
Cruel something.
I wanna fall in love.
Hold on.
With you.
Cruel something, right?
It's not Intentions, right? It's
Wicked Game.
Wicked Games. That's it. Yeah,
what a wicked game we play. If we'd have just kept going.
Feel this way. Yeah, right. I saw Tenacious D doing that song, and obviously crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. Like, that's what I'm saying. He's he rolls. Like,
Jack Black's one of those. He's one of those.
Did we bring him up when we were having that discussion lately about modern day? We were saying like back
modern
in the
day jesters.
Everybody had to be.
Everybody
in Hollywood had to be that kind of person, and now
we didn't, and we should have.
About Jamie Foxx and Donald Glover. But Jack Black is one of those too, like for sure.
Yeah, Jack Black. Like, I think honestly, if you're going that route, I think the GOAT might be Jamie Foxx. Yeah. But if you're going that route, you're the dudes who in the golden era of Hollywood. Let's get this in the POA range. In the golden era of Hollywood, the dudes who today I think would still be stars. Now, Jack Black, because Jack Black can be the lead in a romantic comedy nowadays. You know what I mean? Nowadays, that can be in the.
Well, I mean, he already did.
No, I know, The Holiday. Yeah, but
also I was talking about Shallow Hal. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shallow Hal, dude. What about that movie?
Dude, unbelievable.
Yeah, that movie today,
unbelievable. I mean, like, here's the thing. When I say it don't hold up,
I mean the whole point of the movie was that it's literally called Shallow Hal.
Right.
It's not like, but still.
But it was great how they were like, by the way, if we make the whole point of the movie to make how this dude is wrong, we can write the worst things about women.
Right,
but dude, like when I say that movie doesn't hold up, I mean by society standards. I watched it like a year or two ago, and I remember thinking to myself, I mean, it's still funny as shit. You know what I mean?
Is it Richard Jenkins who has that scene in that movie where he puts his hands up in a club and he's like, you know, he points at these 3 girls standing together, and the one in the middle, he's like, yeah, she looks like an 8, right?
Yeah.
It's just because her friends are 4s.
And
he take them out and then he like takes his hands and puts them over her uglier friends, and suddenly
it's the cheerleader
gets
effect.
ugly or whatever. And it's like,
yeah,
that's not like cool, but like
but
that's
it's true as fuck.
But it's also just like, I don't know. That's just a really good idea for a comedic scene in a movie. Is all. Of course, like the way they did that, the way they executed that is like a really funny idea. If completely insensitive,
and having Richard Jenkins, it's only in hindsight that I appreciate it as much because
Richard Jenkins hadn't really he had been around forever then, but he wasn't.
He's like a standard now.
Yeah, right. He wasn't that then.
So like that's what actually made the movie hit harder for me. Like when I watched it a year ago, I was like, "Fuck me, that was Richard Jenkins." Hey, speaking of the movies, and I'm going to make this POA related because I think that this was a guy who carried himself with grace and some sense of fanciness somehow in everything he did. Big time rest in peace, Donald Sutherland passed away today.
Damn, I hadn't even heard. Donald Sutherland passed away. He's one of them. It's like, how old was he?
88 or 93 or something like that.
Dude, I knew he had to be old as hell. And just
he'd been old.
A few months ago, me and Katie and the boys went and saw that new Hunger Games movie.
Is he still in it?
The boys like the Hunger. I mean, wait a minute. Was he even in that one? Maybe he wasn't, because it was about him it was a prequel about him as a young man. Yeah. I felt like he showed him when he was old too, but maybe it didn't. So never mind. Maybe I was wrong.
Whatever, like he's been in stuff pretty recently. I don't think that like he
and still. I mean, he was in those Hunger Games movies. But I mean, hell, I guess those are like 10 years ago. But yeah, he played presidents. He was like the primary antagonist in those huge movies, and he definitely, crushed at it.
He still had it. It's just that Father Time don't give a shit. But I feel like he had a certain air about him, no matter what he did, a certain regalness. You know what I mean? He just kind of looked like a guy who would be the complete opposite of his son Kiefer. He seemed like a very distinguished man. Like every time I saw him, I thought of a pipe and mahogany and leather. And also a dude who, like, if Donald Sutherland's in something, that's kind of all you have to do for me to at least give it a chance. You know what I mean? I'm like, he didn't really pick bad roles. He elevated everything he was in, even if he was only in it for a second, like when he was in Knives Out. Like, dude crushed it. And I know a couple people who met him down in Florida, and they said, this was years ago, and they said, sweetest guy they'd ever want to meet. So, rest in peace to a legend. Absolutely.
What do you think happened with old Kiefer just growing up like a Hollywood shitbag?
Yeah, in the time, and he was a fucking part of the Brat Pack. You know what I mean? Right. That happened to all of them. Matter of fact, I would say that like Kiefer's doing pretty well considering.
I mean, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Him and like RDJ was like at least the ancillary part of the Brat Pack, right? So he's probably one crushing he's objectively the one crushing. Well, does the Brat Pack also include Leo and Tobey Maguire in them? Or
I don't know.
That's like a separate era, right?
I think they're like
a whole separate era. The Brat Pack was like, you know what? Somebody just asked us to talk about this. I got a message on Patreon saying that we should talk about the Brat Pack, but we're just coming up on it on accident, so we haven't like researched it. There's like a new documentary or docuseries or something. I haven't seen it, but that's what the patron was saying. It's called Brats, I think, and it's like on Hulu or something, and it's all about the Brat Pack. And they were
I'm fine with right now us just waxing out of our ass about it, but I would like to watch that and come back and talk about it. But here in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, it could be changed. Leo and Tobey were like at the very tail end. So if anything, that was like Brat Pack 2. That was kind of like, once they introduced Mike Tyson to D-Generation X, it was already kind of over. You know what I mean? It's like, Mike Tyson and like, Dennis Rodman they're like, oh, Dennis Rodman's an NWO. Well, guess what? Jeff Jarrett, technically a member of the Four Horsemen, but was he really? You know what I'm saying? So with Leo and Tobey, I go, it's like, I think they just came at the end. They were the only two guys.
Did they have a different name? Like, wasn't it like Leo and Tobey, and there was some other ones too, right? Who had their own.
Gyllenhaal, and was it Gyllenhaal?
They had their own separate thing going on.
Yeah,
they weren't the Brat Pack, because the Brat Pack was definitely in the 80s. I've looked it up.
It's Rob. Hold on, let me guess. You got Rob Lowe.
Yep.
You got both the Coreys, Feldman and Haim.
See, I 100% thought that on the Wikipedia page they're not listed as primary members.
They were in it. I don't give a shit about the Wikipedia page. I got plenty of stuff to say about Wikipedia. They're in it. You got Michael C. Hall. Not Michael C. Hall. Not Michael C. Hall. He has a similar name. But I said Rob Lowe. Then you also got Emilio Estevez.
Yes.
You've got Charlie Sheen, obviously.
You said Michael C. Hall?
I didn't mean Michael C. Hall because that's
you mean
the
other one. I always get them mixed up too.
You know who I'm
Anthony
talking about.
Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah.
Yes.
He was like adjacent. And now basically I just kind of want to like be like, if you were in the movie 16 Candles, or you were in the movie if you mess with the bull, you get the horns, Breakfast Club, then you were.
Again, according to Wikipedia, the primary distinction of the Brat Pack, or the origin of it, was from the Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire.
Okay.
The cast of those movies. And you get Rob Lowe, Anthony Michael Hall, Emilio Estevez, Andrew McCarthy, Judd Nelson. And then they include the girls. They got Molly Ringwald, Demi Moore, and Ali Sheedy.
That was never. I mean, that's a lot of retroactive history there.
Then they have ancillary members, and under that they list Tom Cruise, Timothy Hutton, Charlie Sheen, James Spader, Robert Downey Jr., Kevin Bacon, Matthew Broderick, John Cusack, Nicolas Cage, Kiefer Sutherland, Sean Penn, and my buddy John Cryer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I don't know why I didn't mention John Cryer. Fuck, he was Ducky in 16 Candles. Yeah, my boy too. Me and John. I like John. We hit for each other. Don't try to steal him from me.
I'm not trying to steal.
You said he hits for me. Don't hit for you.
Okay,
it's what you said. Anyways, yeah. Well, I guess it's funny though. All the ancillary characters actually ended up hitting harder individually. You know what I mean? And maybe there's something to say about that. Like Tom Cruise was an ancillary character, but it's like I think Tom Cruise got to where he is because he didn't hang around snorting coke and shit at the Viper Room. He just like put his head down and was like, I'm doing fucking movies. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those people you mentioned, they had troubled careers. And like I said, obviously Robert Downey Jr. is doing great, but like, let's not act like there was a moment in time when that wasn't unbelievable that it was happening. Like it was unbelievable that they wouldn't insure him.
A moment in time. It was like 20 years or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like Iron Man, like people.
Well, not 20 years, but it was like 10, 15 years where he was done.
It's just crazy. Like feeling old. Like I've had several moments that have made me feel old over the past couple, years, but this year, especially when I had a kid. And one of them is like realizing that Robert Downey Jr. has been back longer than he was gone. You know what I mean? Like Robert Downey Jr. has absolutely been back longer than he was gone.
I saw one of those this morning, just came up randomly on Reddit. Somebody said that you remember the movie Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah, that movie's old as shit. It's like 99.
People born after that movie came out have now graduated college and gotten married and started families and shit like that. Well, probably not started families because people wait longer now, but basically they're 24. They're like people that were born after the movie came out are 24 years old now.
You know that entire movie was written based on one line in The Big Lebowski?
No, what?
He literally says, dude, he goes, dude, where's my car? And he goes, where's your car, dude?
Where's your car, dude? Yeah, right.
And like that line of dialogue sparked something.
Is that true? Or is that like an apocryphal internet thing? That's actually what happened?
I read it and I believe it. It's true.
Right. That's what I do with internet stuff too.
Yeah. If I want it to be true.
Right. I just did that with an internet thing in our group chat with Mark the other day. What was it? You literally told me to bring it up on here.
Well, while you're thinking about it, Tim Wilson used to have a bit basically, and I just reminded of this because I'm drinking an Italian soda, but he tells a joke and he's like, I don't know if it's true or not. He said, but there is an old Italian phrase that loosely translates to, if it's not true, it should be. And then he goes on to say, matter of fact, I don't even know if that's true. However, I think it proves the point. You know what I mean?
This is a popular internet factoid. You said earlier you had a factoid. I got a factoid for which also, by the way, people oftentimes don't realize that
that means false.
Factoid means something false that's often presented as a fun fact. But people use it just like fun fact, but that's not what factoid means. I'm using it literally. This is a popular internet factoid, so it's not actually true, which I didn't find out till the other day. But people, it's propagated amongst the internet that only Americans lean while standing.
Yeah.
Rumor was that the CIA has to train their foreign agents or American agents acting abroad, whatever the word is for that, their spies. They have to train them to not lean on things.
Yeah,
because that's a dead giveaway that you're an American. Which like
that's true.
Sounds cool, but apparently is not actually true. Even in the Reddit thread where it was posted, there's people in it was like, I'm Brazilian and leaning hits, like
right.
But I guess
but you want to believe it because it's almost like that Inglorious Bastard scene with the three fingers or whatever.
The part that's kind of true, or maybe where it sort of comes from, is like, again, it's the CIA, maybe it's a Cold War era things, it's mostly just us versus the commies, the Ruskies, the Reds, and those people. I know it's not that they never lean, but they tend apparently to squat more. You ever heard of the
stand at attention?
You ever heard of the Slavic squat?
No, but that sounds so dirty, and I love it. They just
squat a lot, and they're real good at squatting. They're real, and there's
when they have that dance where they squat.
Yeah,
and
right,
their feet
exactly.
And
that shit is nuts. It's
crazy.
You see that movies your whole life growing up or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's neat, little Russian dance thing. But if you really think about what that is that they're doing, that shit's insanely difficult. But yeah, they're real good at squatting. And there's this phrase, like a joke phrase people made up. It says, heels on the ground, comrade found. Heels to the sky, Western spy.
Well, there you go. It's kind of true.
My heels are, when I squat down real low, my heels are up.
Yeah. By the way, I used to think, I'm so fascinated by that we've all just gotten factoid wrong our whole life, because here's what I thought factoid was. I thought it was too long to be just a fact, but too short to be a story. So it's a factoid. You know what I'm saying? That was what my brain was. It was like, hey, I've got a fact for you. And it's like, man, you kind of just told me 4 facts there. And you're like, yeah, right. There was 4 facts within one fact, which makes it a factoid. You know, a fact is the sky is blue, right?
Another thing that people have gotten wrong our whole lives, but people are starting to realize
in the comedy community, baby.
Yeah. That for show, but the phrase blood is thicker than water.
Ooh, do this one because I don't know.
Yeah. So
because
anytime you ever hear the phrase blood is thicker than water, what does that mean?
That means you shouldn't fuck over your family.
Right. Basically, family is more important than friends or whatever. Or familial relationships will always
family
be
is
stronger.
Not more important than water, though.
No, well, I always, because I come from a fucked up family, I've never bought into that. I've always felt
I don't agree with it.
I've always felt like, well, you can't even choose your fucking family. If the family you're born into, if you are close, that's great, but you shouldn't force yourself to be close to somebody just because they're family. If they consistently fuck you over or are a shitty person just because they're family. But some people really strongly believe that.
I know, and I don't.
So people use the phrase blood is thicker than water to get that idea across, but that's not the origin of the phrase at all. That's not what it was supposed to ever mean. The full phrase is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So really what it's saying is exactly the opposite.
Right.
It's saying what I've always felt.
The oath that you made to your friends who are there for you,
because you
is
choose
far more
to
important,
make that. Right. It's more, important than just what you're born into. So that phrase is literally used in exactly the opposite fashion as how it was originally meant.
Most people listening to this, I'd say, especially if they watch my special, know that I hate my grandmother. My mom's true mom. She's my family though, right? If you and her got in a fist fight, I would gladly watch you beat her to death. You know what I mean? Because you know why? She could be going, but I'm your grandmother, I'm your family, and I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Trae has actually been there for me in my life.
Right.
He's actually a good person to me. He's made my life better. You ran away on everybody. So fuck blood. But dude, you're right, man. And especially in the South, I feel, because we're a very tribal people. There's people that they will hang on. They will hang on. And
honestly, my
behavior.
sister's kind of like that. And I've always sort of respected Paige for it. But I really have basically just Paige is still, she'll still be there for our sorriest ass family members pretty much.
But she don't shit on you for not.
No, not at all.
Well, there you go. That's fine.
But also I feel like spaghetti people are very much like that. I always get that impression,
Yeah. Spaghetti people. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the English don't fuck with that. You know what I mean? If the English got somebody sorry in their family, they're like, ta-ta.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, if you didn't get through grad school, some English families will fucking just kick you out to the street with you.
Yeah, Asians, same way.
Yeah,
Asians,
absolutely, yeah.
Fucking Germans, hard. I bet Germans are like, you know, this is the last straw, you know, like very much so.
Yeah, so that made me think. I was like, I wonder what some other things like that are. And I've done a quick Google and found some other misunderstood or misattributed sayings.
I hope I know at least one.
That was the only one that I could think of off the top of my head. So here's some other ones. This one says, curiosity killed the cat. It says, the full quote, the beginning of the quote is, in fact, curiosity killed the cat. But the second part of the quote brings a whole new meaning to it. And it is, while curiosity killed the cat, satisfaction brought it back. So it says, rather than discouraging looking further into things, this quote is really saying that final satisfaction may be worth the trouble it takes to get there. So again,
that makes it meaningless.
It's like, it's like the opposite. It's sort of the opposite of how people use. I mean, I've always, it's
but
like
you can't come back if you dead.
Right.
Cats can though, because they have
9 lives. So maybe that's what that's about. I mean, they don't literally, but you know what I mean. Like that. Maybe that's why the cat is what's chosen for that phrase, is because they have 9 lives. But that's another one. It's like curiosity killed the cat. Depends on how you use it. I feel like curiosity oftentimes hits real hard.
But like I think of it in terms of like, hey, do y'all want to look down this well? You know what I mean? It's like there's some things, like me and Amber talk about it a lot. I'm like, and this has only happened. Well, no, I've always kind of been this way with like heights and stuff like that. But like, especially now that I have a kid, that whole like, oh man, some things are, even though they're dangerous, they're worth it. When you have a kid, that shit goes the fuck out the window. The answer is no, it ain't worth it. If it's going to might kill me, I'm not fucking doing it. I can't do it no more.
Right.
But like, I always weigh out everything in like, what are the consequences, rewards versus consequences? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I get if this goes great? What do I get if this goes wrong? They both got to be, filling up a lot of water in their own respective buckets. And usually it's like, nah, but like curiosity killed the cat to me was never like, don't chase your dreams. It was always like, don't drive 100 miles per hour in the rain to see if you can handle
with that
it.
Snake in the bush.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
So another one is great minds think alike.
Okay. So, I want to try to figure what out because everybody thinks like you always say this when someone's like if your wife's like, hey, can I suck your dick? You know what I mean? You're like, not that part would never happen. But like, your buddy's like, hey, what do you say we go to a bar? Man, great minds think alike. Or, like comparing it to actual real.
Yeah. I for one think titties hit. Wow. Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Because I too think titties hit.
So what it means is the opposite of that is that titties
not
don't
really.
hit?
I mean, you tell me, I didn't know this one either. It says the full saying, the original full saying is great minds think alike, though fools seldom differ. So it says we often use this as a humorous expression for two people agreeing. The full quote expands the meaning. The second half of it, fools seldom differ, suggests that people that come to the same conclusion may not be so smart after all because they end up thinking in unoriginal ways. So maybe it's about like, following the crowd, hive mind shit, something like that.
But again, though,
it seems to contradict itself to me.
It does.
Right.
And here's the thing. I used to be like that too. Back in my like Bill Hicks days, I was like, well, if everybody's doing something, clearly it's wrong. You know what I mean? And now that I'm older, don't get me wrong, there's certain things with which I believe that's true. But a lot of times I go back to the phrase 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. You know what I mean? Oftentimes, when there's a certain way that everybody does something, it is because we have, through trial and error, decided that this is the best way. You know what I mean? Everybody drives 60 miles per hour on the highway. I'm going to go 100. Well, there's a fucking reason. You know what I mean? But creatively, too. You know what I mean? Like, every now and then, creatively, you go, I want the guy who does it completely different than everybody else. Well, sometimes that works out and you get a Quentin Tarantino. But sometimes it doesn't work out because there is a reason movies are made a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I've looked up this started with us talking about the blood is thicker than water thing, which I've always heard, but I looked it up and apparently this is like disputed, as like one person points out the meaning, and I kind of do agree with this, that the meaning of phrases really should be determined by how they are most often used.
Yes.
So like
which contradicts the last one you did.
If almost everyone uses it that way, which they do, then I mean it does mean that. So
the word ain't.
So being like that don't actually mean that is kind of bullshit. It's sort of like, pedants, people that are very pedantic, they love to hop on certain things, like when people say like irregardless or something like that, or like I couldn't care less, or whatever. Like, but I'm always kind of like, yeah, but
you know what I mean.
You know what they mean. You know what so many people use it incorrectly, and you know what it means. So it's kind of like it sort of does mean that. I'm pretty sure that like the Oxford Dictionary and things like, and I think that they eventually adopt like common usage definitions for things.
Sure,
like
and words like ain't's in there now.
Right, ain't's in there.
They're like ain't a word. It's like bullshit. We all say it. How do you think words got to be words? Every word wasn't a word until it was a word.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel.
Used to be words, yeah.
And also, like, especially with now when it's like typed out, it's one thing because that means you had a chance to think about it for a second. But when you're just talking, like, it pisses me off when someone's like, you're in the middle of a conversation and they take a moment to be like, by the way, that's not how that, you should. And I'm like, but did you know what I meant? And they're like, well, yeah, I knew what you meant. And I'm like, well, that's all fucking conversation is. Like, so it still was right. It got the fucking point across. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, I don't know. But I'm obviously very defensive of that because I'm a fucking idiot and I say shit wrong a lot. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's it. So basically what it's saying is, because your last quote was like, don't go with the hive mind or whatever. The Oxford Dictionary eventually is like, we're going to let the hive mind have this one.
Yeah.
Right.
I suppose that is true. I got another thing I want to show you. Some of these I think are pretty great, and this is very on brand for POA. So I'll do that right after this.
Y'all, have you heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement towards better habits, led by the sponsor of today's video, Fume. What would you do if you were away from your little bad habit stick? You know what I mean? Like you lost it. It got lost in the laundry or something like that. Would you freak out like I used to do? Yeah, well, you might find out what you do without it once you've tried Fume, because we've all got bad habits. Mine, was the kind you think you're doing so well without, and then you go out with friends, and they're all reaching for their bad habits, and then you feel that urge not to be left out and ask to borrow one of, hey, can I have one of your bad habits? Well, what if I was to tell you that there's a better alternative that helps you kick your bad habit in an enjoyable way, something that you can take out with you? That's right, baby. Flavored air is like if vapor was sticky soda, then Fume cores are like herbal teas. You know what I mean? And that's actually the deal with the orange vanilla one. The first time I ever tried it, I was like, wow, this is kind of like the tea we had when we was across the pond, isn't it? It's with flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion, and it draws the flavor to your mouth. All right? It fills the void ditching a bad habit can leave. It's not a vape, by God. You can use it literally anywhere because it's just flavored oxygen. It's not addictive, completely guilt-free, no batteries. It looks awesome. You can fidget with it if you've got ADD like your boy. They also continue to invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products. Fumed is backed by doctors in the U.S. Dude, the orange vanilla is my favorite, but I also really like the crisp mint because it reminds me of a particular bad habit that I used to indulge in when I was, let's say, had one too many other bad habits, if you know what I'm saying. And I really like that. It's kind of like brushing your teeth with oxygen. So, really good stuff. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use our code POA to get a free gift with your journey pack, or head to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com, and use the code POA. Not POA, folks. POA. Use the code POA, or scan the QR. Oh my God, I can't talk. I'm so excited about Fume that I cannot speak, ladies and gentlemen. Or scan the QR code on screen to get a free gift with your order today. Fume, start a good habit by God. Y'all, this show is sponsored by our good friends over at Mando Whole Body Deodorant. And by the way, Mando Whole Body Deodorant will keep you stink-free all summer, even in the hottest months. So here's some stuff that I'd like you to know, because I think everybody that watches the show knows this show, by the way. I'm a huge sweater. I go outside a lot so I can get kind of stanky. I go on my walks all the time. And, sometimes the regular stick of deodorant doesn't just cover it, right? But the thing about Mando is they've got this like deodorant cream that I can literally rub over my whole body. Okay, I have to get my wife maybe to help me in certain places, but it's great. I can rub it on the inside of my thighs when I'm going walking. It's tremendous. It's long lasting. They do have a solid stick, which I love. That's what I use when it's just regular date night. You know what I'm saying? They are proven to control odor for 72 hours. Now, I personally would never go 72 hours without applying more Mando, but that's just me. If you don't want to, you don't have to. The body wash and cleansing bar, by the way, fire, they're proven to control odor for 24 hours. And I'll be honest, I used to be the type of guy who would say I'd never go 24 hours without a shower either. And then I had a kid, and, well, you know how life be getting in the way. And I can tell you that Mando body wash absolutely makes me feel fresh, even when I haven't had a time to freshen up. I start with the body wash in the shower, prime my skin. Then I apply like the invisible cream to my whole body. And then, dude, like I don't have to hate summer anymore. It's great. They also have these deodorant wipes that you can keep in your car or a gym bag, which I do just in case I'm out for a walk and my wife is like, hey, you got to meet me down here because some of my friends want to go to lunch or whatever. I can just wipe myself off with them. It's really, really sweet. I love things that make me smell good and make me more confident. The whole body deodorant's great. This was all created by a doctor, by the way, who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough for the toughest body odor, but gentle enough to use everywhere, allowing you to put Mando on family jewels without any worry, which, by the way, I do because this is important. It's aluminum-free. I started using aluminum-free a while back, and now I've made the complete switch to Mando. Baking soda-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and it's vegan. No animals were harmed during the making of this product. So Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick of deodorant, cream, tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash, which I love, or the deodorant wipes, which I literally cannot live without, and also free shipping. And luckily, we got a discount code to help you get hooked on our new favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code POA at shopmando.com. shopmando.com. Code POA. Quit being stanky and go for a walk in the woods this summer and be confident. And then if you are stanky, use the wipes. Mando.
All right. So this phenomenon you're very aware of, and it's come up on the show before, generally speaking, but I have some specific examples of it, and some of them really cracked me up. This is from a Reddit post about how Kate and Megan have been treated differently by the British press.
Yeah.
And some of these are like, they're all kind of funny, but dude, some of these are
Raven.
Something else, dude.
Yeah.
So, all right, can you see this?
I can.
Obviously, if y'all are just listening, it'll be fine. These are headlines. I'm going to read them, obviously. So here's the Kate headline. Kate's stylish coat coordinated perfectly with the Queen. And then Meghan's headline, how Meghan Markle's confusion over a hat nearly got her into big trouble with the Queen. And the picture is of the Queen wearing a hat, but it's also like just the hat, like the big hat scandal of 2018 or whatever that was, is just so silly. But let's read a couple more first, so you can jump in wherever.
Well, I'm going to share a clip right after this that actually I didn't know you were doing this, but this clip is going to hit so much harder now. Go ahead.
Right. All right. So this next one says Meghan Markle broke royal hair protocol yet again with her bun, and then
the nerve,
and then a Kate headline, Kate Middleton's elegant bun is a departure from her signature beauty style.
I think it's important to note, by the way, that these are from the same newspaper. Yeah, these are all from the same outlet. Because not that it wouldn't still be Raven, but like that makes the point better.
Here, the Express, it's a British outlet. It's called the Express. I'm not that familiar with it, but there's a bunch of them in here, and they get really, really Raven. This next one says, quote, "A step too far. Meghan Markle slammed for putting her hands in pockets." Right. And it's Meghan Markle has been criticized for holding her hands in her pockets during a royal engagement in New Zealand today, with the move described as, quote, "a step too far" by an etiquette expert. This has been paired with a picture of Queen Elizabeth with her hands in her pockets.
Yeah.
And
slammed. I love how they say that, slammed, and it's like one etiquette expert said you shouldn't do that.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Seems a trifle too much to me. Right.
A bridge too far, I think, Nigel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Meghan
slammed by critics. Yeah, right.
And it's like, no, y'all are the ones slamming her by doing this.
Right. Yep. So, all right, next up. Kate Middleton just proved that these are the most versatile shoes of the summer. Meghan Markle broke royal shoe protocol at Bondi Beach. Like
the beach,
they have
shoe protocol.
I know wonder what the shoe protocol is for the royals at the beach. You know, like they surely ain't allowed to wear any kind of sandals or nothing. Maybe they I could see them maybe having like some kind of sandal from some country that they conquered and subjugated. That now it's like okay for them to wear or something.
Yeah, like some sort of African, like wrap up your leg sandal or some shit like that. But you can't show toes. I don't think they should be like. I feel like I've never seen a royal's toe, and I think that's on purpose.
I know that. I agree. I feel like you ain't supposed to see their toes.
No, I'm going off nothing here other than like I've never. I feel like I'd remember if I seen a toe.
Maybe they webbed or something. You know?
Yeah, that's the dead giver. Well, dude, like. The thing is, they're all fucking inbred, right? But like, as far as inbred people go, they look way better. These particular ones look way better than like what we consider like the, Deliverance type inbred. So what I mean by that is like, they've got to have a fault somewhere, and it's probably their feet. And that's why they keep them hidden. They don't even have toes. They just have two big old stumps.
Yeah. So this one's more about the brothers, the princes, but they're both headlines from The Sun. First one, stiff upper flip. Prince William blasts monarchy's stiff upper lip tradition and backs Harry's admission of his mental anguish after death of Mother Diana. Mm-hmm. The next headline is Royal Rifts. Prince Harry and Meghan ditch the British stiff upper lip. Is this a good thing? Parents and kids are torn.
Yeah, they are.
Also, dude,
let's ask the kids.
The fact that like William apparently had to come out and be like, no, I think it's fine that he cried when Mother died violently. You know what I mean? Like it's
as a child.
As a child, yes. Yeah. When his mother died in a brutal car crash in front of the entire world at the age of 8 or however old he was.
I think he was like right.
I think he can be forgiven for shedding a tear or two. And some people are like, I disagree.
They're kind of proving that blood ain't thicker than water, bro.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So, dude, listen. All right. These are both from the Express. The first one is about Kate. It says, why you can always say it with flowers. Yeah. Subheadline, a floral code popular in Victoria times is making a comeback thanks to our royal newlyweds. Talking about Kate and William. The following headline, royal wedding. How Meghan Markle's flowers may have put Princess Charlotte's life at risk. She nearly killed this baby with her flowers, apparently. Like, I think the next one is it's a repeat of that one. But they like, this made me think, okay, we'll do one more. So it says,
please keep going.
Kate's morning sickness cure. Prince William gifted with an avocado for the pregnant Duchess. Then Meghan Markle's beloved avocado linked to human rights abuse and drought, millennial shame.
Dude, it's the onion.
Yeah, I know.
It's so fucking funny.
It's insane.
It's so fucking funny.
Like, oh God, an avocado, flowers and an avocado.
Jesus
Another one, same headline about the prince giving Kate an avocado, and then a different headline about Meghan Markle. How Meghan's favorite avocado snack, beloved of all millennials, is fueling human rights abuses, drought, and murder.
By the way, I'm so fucking sick of it being like, when it was just purely avocado toast that they were saying this about, I'd go, you're right, that is kind of a new thing. But now it's just us who avocados hit for. Like, I stand here and say, no, sir. Because, dude, my mom was fucking eating, guacamole and shit like that when we was kids. Like, avocados have hit for a long time. You cannot throw that on a generation. Again, if you want to make the avocado toast jokes, that's fucking whatever. That's fine. But, like, God damn it, acting like y'all, everybody else but millennials has been totally fine and has no human rights violations, but we pick up a goddamn cholesterol-free snack with good fat in it, and we're fucking Pol Pot.
Yeah, also just the whole like millennial demonization thing that's continuing is like, I feel like it's like, bro, we're like
40.
in our 40s now, or like getting there. It's like,
I did a whole video about
what
it.
is all this young kid shit that y'all are still doing? It's like they, but I guess that generation will always see us as the youngins, and they don't even know what to think about this new group. But all right, next up, not long to go. Pregnant Kate tenderly cradles her baby bump while wrapping up her royal duties ahead of maternity leave, and William confirms she's due any minute now. Why can't Meghan Markle keep her hands off her bump? Experts tackle the question that has the nation talking. Is this pride, vanity, acting, or a new age bonding technique? Like,
it can't just be a bitch touching her stomach. We know
because
that.
She's pregnant. Like every single pregnant woman that has ever existed in the history of humanity, I'm pretty sure, has rubbed her pregnant belly or put her hands. If I had,
have you seen me and you come out of an Arby's?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like one of the only benefits of having a big ass belly is it's like a shelf.
Yeah.
For your hands, you can rest your arms on it. But
dude, you know how hard my belly hits for Bane when like I can put my phone on it and play YouTube and it's like its own little like stand? Like having a belly, you gonna touch your fucking belly.
Bro. Okay.
I forgot about this one.
Okay. Again, two headlines from The Sun. First one, there she glows. Pregnant Kate cradles her burgeoning baby bump as she waves to the crowd at Mental Health Forum. And then Gone Gaga, Meghan Markle's constant bump holding is, quote, just for a photo op, and she should take her baby bump Barbie act down a notch. Critics slam.
Yeah, both from The Sun.
Again, dude, who are these like royal critics or whatever that just sit around and either jerk them off or hate, depending on the circumstance.
Can I point something out that might make people think I'm just being a dickhead, but I need to point it out? That last one was written by a woman.
Right.
Just needed to point that out, as have been several of these have been written by women.
Oh, bro. I mean, look, men be going in on women and it don't hit and all that is true.
We just do it in private.
But like women also stay going in on each other. Like,
right.
For sure. Like, I mean, I think that we talked before about how, like, I feel like most of the time, a lot of the stuff women do is actually for other women, even if that, like, it's like the way they dress.
Shoes.
Stuff.
Yeah, my wife has told me that a million times because I'd be like,
I mean, it just has to be true because we know that men don't care. Like, we know for a fact that men do not care at all about any of that. So the fact that they do, it's either just self-driven or it's because, culturally that's other women care about it, which is the reason you have to care.
And dude, you can tell that it's the complete opposite for men, that everything we ever did was to impress a woman, because the second we get married, we start dressing again like when we're just hanging out with our buddies.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing but ball shorts.
I just like the language of some of this.
Oh, it's great.
The first one is Carol wins Granny War. Duke and Duchess of Cambridge will spend second private Christmas with the Middleton family rather than joining the Queen at Sandringham. And then, doesn't the Queen deserve better than this baffling festive absence? Richard Kay examines the impact of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's decision not to spend Christmas with the royal family. Doesn't she deserve better? Festive absence. It's so funny.
A festive absence.
All right. Then the last one from the same woman, same exact woman writing for the Daily Mail. Her name is Sarah Vine. First one says, how Kate went from drab to fab, from eyebrows and Pilates to a new style guru. Our experts revealed the Duchess of Cambridge's secrets to looking sizzling. And then also from Sarah Vine, my memo to Meghan Markle following her Vogue editorial. We Brits prefer true royalty to fashion royalty. So get it together, bitch. Yeah, but
yeah, dude.
So I was reading this and I kept thinking, again, some of the, dude, the ones about the flowers almost killing the toddler and the fucking,
oh my god,
the avocados like causing a Holocaust and shit. Like it just made me think. Like I got to a point where I was, I was shortly over Meghan and Harry and their whole thing.
Well,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Where it was like.
Which means I'm just not going to say nothing.
I feel like y'all are being a bit extra, and the whole deal was like, I don't know. I did not, but
two things can be true.
I don't know. You're right. Two things can be true. Like, I don't know how they, especially her, I totally get it from her perspective because she was thrust into this world, and it's like, I don't, it'd take an incredibly strong person to not lose your mind with that kind of treatment. I feel like that is insane. You can't put your hands in your pockets. You can't wear a hat. You can't wear sandals at the beach. You can't touch your own pregnant stomach. You can't have flowers at your wedding or eat avocados in the morning. You can't do none of that without being called like a fucking,
when
disloyal, uprooting charlatan, floozy or whatever they're calling it. Like, it's insane, man.
It'd be one thing if they held Kate to that same standard, because then at least she could be like, well, it's not,
that's
listen,
just how it is.
It's not blatant racism. It's just that, like, it's literally their protocol. But, like, when they don't, I'm with you. Like, how can you not, like, my mama, God love her, every time it's brought up that, like, the royal family and them are a little bit racist about Meghan Markle, my mom won't even read it, won't even hear none of it. But then you see all of this shit, and it's like, I mean, dog, scoreboard.
How much you say? I'm sure race is like definitely a factor in it, but it's also like she's kind of hitting them for there's like a trifecta thing going on here where it's like she's not any kind of aristocracy or royalty or nothing herself. Kate. And but we talked about this. Kate was from some kind of somewhat uppity British family, right? It was just like
dude,
Meghan is American.
That's true. It's the American part.
I'm saying she was an actor. Like, they probably still think, remember how we've talked before about back in the Middle Ages, actors were like on the same level as prostitutes and shit. I wouldn't doubt that to the royal family, they still kind of feel that way. And she's American, so she's like low class American and also, not entirely white. So it's like
the Queen would have thought Skinner was trash,
Right. Yes, absolutely. She would have. Everybody knows that. But if they think Skinner was trash, I mean, imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle. But no, the Americans doing a lot of the heavy lifting here for sure. But I'm just saying though, Kate, like, you're right, her family had money, but like, I feel like to the royals, it's like, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're literally not part of the aristocracy, you may as well have no money. You know what I mean? Because like they have what seems like unlimited money. So like the difference between me, I don't know, man. Like they just be fucking wild. And by the way, I feel like this is a thing that's been going on with the Queen for a while. I have a clip here, Trey, that I've been wanting to show you for a while, and I was hoping I could fit it in to this. I have it titled here. I uploaded it as the Queen meets a nice black lady. Now, I did some light editing.
I think I might have seen this. It does hit though.
I was afraid that you might have seen it, so I did some light editing at the end just so it would hit for you. And maybe you won't even notice that I did it. Who knows? But anyways, here's a clip of the Queen.
To visit, she forgot everything and did what she'd been hoping to do for weeks. No one quite knew how to take her. Try to leave her and she wouldn't have it. She needed photos for the family. In the end, sadly, no, the Queen couldn't stay for the fried chicken and iced tea Alice had made.
She fucked up.
On her goddamn face, man.
Yeah, that super hits for me because it's just like, I mean, that old black lady, she's just being sweet and
she was
Southern hospitality is all that is. But the idea that anybody in any other country should
has to know your
or give
protocol.
a shit about your royal protocols, I think is fucking asinine.
When you're in my house,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And by the way, I'm not saying like I'm allowed to hit you because we're in my house, but like when we're in my house, this is how we do things. You know what I mean? I mean, if there's something like if you got a goddamn shellfish allergy, I'll help you out. But like I will have my fucking hands in my pocket, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Guarantee you that fried chicken and sweet tea was fire too.
Fire.
She fucked that up.
She did fuck that. Yeah, but you know that the queen would have been like, it's got too many seasonings on it.
I mean, yeah, that's probably true. Yeah,
wouldn't have hit for her at all.
No. Wonder what things did super hit for her. Do you know, like by diet wise, food wise, like what was her number one jams? Like spotted dick and
well, she had
lemon cakes.
She had the classic
roast
egg and
pigeon.
Yeah. She had the classic egg and cup every morning, you know, which is the most fundamentally stupid way to eat a goddamn egg. Now, you know what I mean?
We may have done this before on the show. It's been a long time. Do they ultimately eat the whole thing? Or do they just
dip the toast in?
Dip the little toast sticks into the yolk.
Honestly, that makes it worse because now you're wasting egg.
Now, why? Well, sure, yes, but they don't give a fuck about the. I'm saying, if they're eating the whole egg by the end of the ordeal, I hear you. But if you're like, it's like putting dip in a ramekin or something.
Yes,
because if you just lay an egg on a plate with the intent of dipping toast into the yolk, right? Like a soft boiled egg. If you fancy and stuff, that egg's just going to roll all over the plate. It's going to get yellow all over the plate. And you know, I love to sop. I'm a sopping fool. I sop all that up with my toast. It won't bother me at all, but that's unbecoming to them. That's indecorous. So like, you got to have something to hold the egg upright in place while you dip the toast into the yellow.
But don't you think it should
That's where it comes from.
But don't you think it should also be unbecoming of them to do any of the work? They're the ones that crack the egg and peel that top part off. Wouldn't you think that it would just come peeled like that in there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
so. If you're already doing all this it just seems like you're going to get a little bit of shell in there. Every time I've seen it, I'm like, you're going to get fucking shell in there.
Well, now I don't understand that part, because if it's sitting in a cup, you crack the top of the egg, you peel the shell away from the part you're going to cut, you're going to lop off, right?
But
that ain't how they do it.
No, that is how they do it. But like when they're dipping the bread, there's still shards of shell around this thing. And I'm thinking when you go in with the toast, you're going to push some of the egg into there. It's just the dumbest fucking way to eat eggs. It's matter of fact, it's the only fucking dumb way to eat eggs. It's the only, every other way, the egg is like the Reese's of the goddamn farm world. There's no wrong way to eat it except for this, because in this, it would be like if to eat a Reese's, you sat one upright, still in its goddamn pack, and just dug through the plastic and only got to part of the peanut butter and then rubbed that on a pretzel stick and then and it's like, just open the whole fucking thing, you know? Like, it's just fucking stupid. Anyways, hey, I wanted to tell you this story, and I don't know where there's a place for it, but I just think it would hit for you. I wanted to shout out our good friends at the Dollop, Gareth and Dave, because Gareth actually had me this Tuesday, I want to say this weekend, but Tuesday, he had me do a little stand-up with him at the Comedy Catch and also film some stuff during the day and whatnot, which was great. Y'all should all go listen to the Dollop. A lot of y'all are here because of the Dollop, which we appreciate, but I thought this would hit for you real hard in two respects. So Tuesday, we do the show. I go up and do crowd work with him at the end. Smashed, hooray, yada, yada, yada. Well, the next day, Gareth was like, hey, I got this idea. Did you know that there is a cat cafe in your town in like Chattanooga? And I was like, yes, I did. I said, wait a minute. Is it the one that boasts more than 30 cats inside? And he said, are you suggesting that you have perhaps 2 cat cafes? And I was like, I'm just making sure we're on the same page. He's like, no, it's that one. He's like, so meet me at the cat cafe at like 2. I got an idea. Gareth is a big, cat guy. He's got Jose. It's a big part of his personality. So we're going to film some stuff there, right? So we go in. It's a paradise for you. It's like the front part is super clean and cats are not allowed in there, and that's where all the food is and stuff. But then you can go back to this private area where it says 30 cats on the sign, But then you get in there and they're like, hey, there's 40 cats. We just ain't changed the sign, but just letting you know it's 40 cats in here. And they're great. It's a place in Chattanooga, and they work with the Humane Society where, like, anytime there's a situation where a cat might get killed, they take them at the cat cafe and they adopt them out of there. So anyways, we're in there. Most people are drinking coffee and being cool. I'm drinking a beer and petting cats and shit like that. And so me and Gareth are filming this whole thing, right? Well,
he got people with him.
Yeah, he's got Luke, dude, who is his opener, who I murdered. Okay. Absolutely.
So he brings an opener with him on. No one listening cares, but I just have to ask
that films. Yes. That films. Yeah.
I need to get me one of them. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well, this guy, he hits real hard. Luke's awesome. But anyways, we get kind of done and we're coming out, and all of a sudden and remind you, we've done the show already. I've gone on stage with him before. We did crowd work at the end or whatever. And we're walking out, and this dude goes, this real, sort of just like kind of mousy dude goes, oh my God. He goes, you did stand, talking to Gareth. He goes, you did stand up at the Choo Choo last night. I was there. And he's like, yeah, I sure did. And he goes, I didn't expect you to see you here. He's like, I bet you didn't. And then because we're still filming, and I thought, well, this would hit. I go, yeah. What about that pudgy idiot they brought up at the end? You know, that was kind of, and he goes, I did not care for that at all.
Okay. The reason that this hits so hard for me for people that don't know is that, like, I really respect the fact, like, that he has done that to me before. Like, Corey, I mean, y'all that are listening, Corey has done this to me in my presence, and it was funny. It's a funny thing to do, but the fact that he has now done it to himself. So we were in Telluride at a bluegrass festival, and we were taking a ski lift up to the place where they had all the people staying there, all the, like, artists. They were all artists. We're dipshits, but either way, they had everybody staying at this little resort, these little rooms at the top of the hills. So we're taking a ski lift up there at the end of the night, and it's me and Corey and this old, well-to-do white couple. And Corey was like, "You having a good time? Whatever, Well, yeah, love it. Come every year. Did you check out the comedy shows? First comedy?" And then they were just like, "Nah, we didn't know. I didn't know who that guy was, but we looked him up, and that was plenty enough, And Corey's like, "Oh yeah, you didn't care for him?" It's like, "No, I think I got to do a lot better keeping his mouth shut." You know what I mean? Like that. It's like it's not our thing. We thought we'd better off just taking a nap for that period and then coming back like whatever. And I'm just sitting there while they're saying all this about me, and it was very funny. But the fact that you did that, it's so much funnier to do because
I knew
about yourself, like because
I led him to say a shitty thing.
Well,
me and Gareth was like convinced that guy was kidding because he's like, how do you not recognize
That's
you?
what I was about to say. You thought, I know you were not trying to do what ultimately happened.
Yes, I was.
You were trying to be self-effacing in a way that, like, and then the guy would be like, "Oh, you too. You were great too," and you could be like, "No, stop."
He hadn't. Well, but dude, then he hadn't even paid it.
When the guy's like, "I did not care for that man."
Well, actually, what I was hoping was that he would like just play along with it. Is what I was hoping. Which, you know what I'm saying? But like Gareth is like, I think he just didn't recognize you. And I was like, how the fuck do you not recognize me? And he's like, well, last night you had your hat on forward, you had on jeans and stuff, and now
I think he probably didn't recognize you too.
Yeah, which makes it hit harder, funnier.
Which means, but if you said Gareth was saying like, oh, he was just kidding. If I think he probably didn't recognize you, but that to me means that he was not kidding.
Yeah, right.
I
agree
that you genuinely didn't
hit for him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, granted,
I feel like you've got a pretty distinctive look, but I still agree with Gareth. I think the guy. I feel like the guy. I mean, if it happened exactly the way you described it, which I'm sure it did.
Well, it's on film.
Oh, really?
It's on film, so you'll be able to dissect it. Yeah, we did a whole bunch of shit. We filmed a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, do you want your fucking mind blown real quick?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, look at this.
Hold on, wait a minute, just real quick.
In here, there's
You said, "What about that pudgy idiot that brought up the end?" And he goes, "I did not care for that."
Yeah.
Right? and then what happened? Like, you probably busted out laughing, right?
Me and Gareth both started laughing, but the guy didn't break.
He just sat there stone-faced.
He sat there stone-faced. Like,
what did he think was happening then when you guys cracked up like that, though? You know what I mean? Like, I'm asking, he never put it together.
Dude,
Like
not vocally, at least. Like vocally, he never said, "Oh, I mean, I'm just kidding, man. You were great."
So then what happened? Y'all laughed real hard. He sits there stone faced, and then Gareth, what? How does it end?
Gareth goes, and the guy was like, "Well, I gotta go see the cats." You know what I mean? And then me and Gareth went up to the front. And it's very unfortunate because they had just turned the camera off, and I knew this. But the hardest I made Gareth laugh the whole time is I said, I went up to the counter and I go, I will take all of the cat-shaped Oreo pops. And the guy's like, all of them? And I was just like, yep. And Gareth fucking busted out because like the guy was like, are you fucking sure? And I was like, I said all of them because I wanted to support the place. You know what I mean? They'd let us do a thing. So naturally, instead of just giving them money, I got all the Oreo pops.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anyways, but no, dude, I'm telling you again, this is going to be, I don't know if this is going to make the cut of the sketch thing that we did, but
I'm going to fucking text him and tell him to send it to me, whether he puts it out publicly or not. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. It's gonna hit. I knew just the story alone would hit for you. But watch this shit, man.
In here, there's a study that you write about Lexus, right?
Right. Now, the problem with Toyota was they were making their cars in Japan, exporting them to America. And for the American person, or the average US person, it was still a Toyota. It represented reliability and quality, but it didn't quite represent opulence and luxury.
Yeah.
So one day, the story is told like fable, but they're sitting in a board meeting, and one day they're having a conversation about what are we going to do with this problem? And they thought the problem was about pricing.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, a little voice from the back said, this is not a pricing problem, it's a brand problem. We've built a brand that represents one thing. We have a market that associates our brand with one thing.
Yeah.
We're trying to sell them something different.
Yeah.
So we should just, rather than change the car, just change the logo on the car. You know how you know when you're driving the wrong cars? If I ask you what car you drive and you tell me the derivative, not the brand. So if I said, what do you drive? You say I drive a GT86. You don't tell me I drive a Toyota Coupe.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because a person drives an Aston Martin doesn't go out drive a DB9 or a Vanquish. You ask, what do I drive? I drive an Aston Martin.
I drive a Bentley.
Do you get it? I drive a Bentley.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you if it's a Mulsanne or if it's Continental or it's a Bentley. So the voice says, change the logo.
Yeah.
And I go, what do we call it? And the answer was, what is it? It's a luxury product. What do? We export it. And to whom? To the US. So what is this thing? It's a luxury export to the US.
Amazing. By the way, I've never that it's like makes so much sense because I was always like, that's not how we spell Lexus. Why is that the only way Lexus is spelled that way? But
whoa, I'm sorry. What do you mean how we spell Lexus?
Like if you have a person named Lexus, it's always Lexis. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay. But names are,
Yeah, I know.
Names are made up.
Well, I know names are made up, but like that car name was made up.
You know people named Lexus that aren't strippers?
One of my best friends.
Is it a Lexus?
No, Lexus.
Okay, I've never met a person that I know. I know
a car. I know
she named her daughter Lexus, but like I didn't know. And again, stripper. There's strippers named Mercedes, Lexus, whatever.
Right.
Like they do that. Strippers take fancy car names, but I've never met a non-stripper person whose name was Lexus.
Now that I think about it, she's the only one. It's Robbie's little sister.
Yeah.
It's Robbie's little sister. But anyways, like luxury export to the U.S. is crazy. But I also never like that.
But shouldn't that be Luxus?
Yes.
Right.
Fucking
I'm not
Asians,
saying
man.
that isn't what it is because it's like I've always been annoyed when people do that because they use luxury export. So luxury is the L, export is the EX, and then US, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But see, they're playing fast and loose with the fucking acronyms and stuff.
It's like the norm bit.
I just looked up NORAD because we rewatched Independence Day, right?
Still hold up?
Oh, fuck yeah. Love that movie. Which NORAD, NORAD, stands for the North American Aerospace Defense Command.
Right.
Which should be NAADC, but they abbreviate that as NORAD.
Right.
So it's North, like North American, and then AD, Aerospace Defense. But it's like, I don't know. I'm annoyed by that type of thing.
This is kind of like Norm's bit when he was talking about ID. He's like, the I stands for I, and the D stands for identification.
Yeah.
Really doing a lot of the heavy work there. But I'd never really thought about that in terms of like, but it's so, now that I hear it out loud, I'm like, oh, wow, that's so true that like, our buddy Conrad, he's just like, we'll take my Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what particular Rolls Royce I don't know the names of any types of Rolls Royces. I know that there are different types of Rolls Royce, but every time I hear that anyone, they just go, I got a Rolls Royce. And it's the same with a Bentley. And I'd say it's a little, sometimes it's the same with a Mercedes, but Mercedes is probably the one where it starts to dip and you go
BMW too. I feel like people mostly just say BMW.
They do.
Or Beamer.
Beamer.
But I think that speaking of marketing, how this all works, I think some of those car companies might realize that is true and try to get that to happen by giving their model names just like letters and numbers put together.
GT1, yeah.
You know what I mean?
911.
Like 385i or whatever like that. And it's like those are not, those don't stick in your mind the way that like I mean, like Porsche, I feel like people say Cayenne or they say 911.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? And Porsche is obviously fancy, but like those names hit, or 911 don't hit, but it predates 911.
911, the name hits.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 911 as a name for a car hits so fucking hard. That's like my dream car, dude, is the Porsche 911. Like,
I mean, those I think those are rad, but I didn't know it was your, older one, like number one.
I say that me and Dave Bautista were just talking today about how actually the Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit is probably my number one, which Dave has that car. Like, he messaged me. The reason we were even talking is because I'd put up a video about watching Smokey and the Bandit, and he's like, yo, check this shit out. I got the car. Like, not the one, I don't think, but just like it's modeled after that one. So like that's one of them. But like, man, seeing David Duchovny in Californication, he's got that Porsche 911 that he drives up the Pacific Coast Highway, and like it's dirty. He don't even give a shit about it because that's just, his style. Like that particular one, that kind of matte black, and just picturing like driving that up the PCH is like, man, that.
Let me tell you something about the PCH, by the way. We were about to do that this very weekend because I'm in Oxnard. So I'm in Oxnard tonight, and then I'm in San Jose on Sunday. So Kate and the boys are coming with me, and we're spending that in between time driving up the coast. But let me tell you something that's super duper don't hit. The PCH is closed for a mile and a half section in the Big Sur area. Because of a landslide. And landslide like more than a year ago or something. And it still ain't reopened. It's just a mile and a half stretch, but because of the way.
Yeah, it's going to take an hour.
You can't really, there's not little like, you can't take a little detour and just go around
the coast.
Right. You have to you have to go all the way inland and up. So like,
yeah, an hour.
Like if you want to drive the PCH, you can like drive it up and then you got to turn around where it's closed and come back down and then drive all the way around it to get to the other side of it. And that's just, that just ain't it. Like we're gonna be able to do the PCH for a couple little stretches, but you can't do the whole thing. And also the Big Sur part is supposed to be like one of the hittingest parts, I reckon, but it's closed right now. So
this is what I love about you, and I genuinely mean it. You're the only person I know who I can bring up the Pacific Coast Highway, and you're like, I have a complaint.
Well, that don't hit.
It don't hit. It don't hit. I would be doing the same thing if that was happening to me. I'm just saying, it's it's wonderful. It's not
like I just did it and then I was like, it actually ain't that great. It kind of a lot of winding, a lot of curves. Like
you also perfectly promoted your shows too. Which I thought that was really great.
This comes out tomorrow, so thanks for coming to Oxnard. But yeah, I'll be in San Jose Sunday. If y'all want to come see me at the Improv, please do.
Man, yeah. And, for me, it's bonuscorey.com. I'm doing cool stuff. By the way, if you sign up right now, next week you will enjoy so much Disney, quote unquote, content because me and the boys, I was pretending I was you for a second. Me and my family and my boy, we are going to Disney. It's going to be wild, man. I don't know what to expect. Like, I'm super pumped because, like, I'm not, like, there's a whole, like, genre of, like, Disney adults, but I feel like those are people who,
Katie's
like,
one.
They make it their whole personality. They go multiple times. Like, I'm a fan of Disney shit, and therefore Disney is going to hit for me, but, like, I don't think, like, I don't know if I count as am I a Disney adult?
No.
'Cause you have to, it's specifically the theme park, right? Like, you go to Disney a lot.
Yeah, but then it becomes, she's like, Katie got an annual pass to Disneyland. She goes by herself frequently. She takes a girls trip to Disney World every year. My sons have never been to Disney World.
So she's Disneyland,
but it's not
right?
just the park. She has annual pass to Disneyland because we live in Los Angeles, but she goes to Disney World for a week every year.
Okay.
But she's got all kinds of clothes and stuff that she mostly only wears to like Disney. Oh, she's also in D23, which is like a Disney fan club thing, and they do special events at like the Walt Disney Studios.
Okay, so
she drags me to those things and stuff, and they get all these little plaques. And I mean, she's like, I still think that there's a whole other tier above Katie that's way more hardcore than she is. But I mean, she's pretty. She's pretty into it. It's funny because like always, Disney adults, and she knows this, they don't hit for people. And I'm a comedian. I'll be in green rooms a lot. Pretty frequently, in some capacity, Disney adults will come up, and I'm always like, "Yeah, my wife's a Disney adult," and they'll start to get weird. And I'm always like, "Well, I do have children, by the way. We do actually have children." They're like, "Oh, well, that's better." And I'm like, "Yeah, they're in high school. Really have anything to do with it?" Yeah,
I will say
they've never been, but yeah.
I was going to say that, like, I have to give someone a little slack that lives right near it, because it's like, well, that kind of seems different. Because there's a couple Disney adults in Chickamauga, and it's like, that takes so much more time, effort, and money to like, you multiple times a year go to Orlando. If it was right there, I was going to say, like, if it was right there, I might go all the time. But like, there's plenty of shit that's right there where I live, and I don't go to it. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty.
Who you telling?
Yeah, no, I know, bro. I know. And like, I know that Disney, like, I won't say like as a brand or a company, because like, whatever, but like Disney products hit for you. Like me and you both love Disney movies. We love Star Wars. We love Marvel. We love all that stuff. So like, you're a Disney adult in the sense that like, if Disney put out a new animated movie that was for children, it wouldn't be weird for you to fuck with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But as far as leaving the house goes, hell no. You know what I mean? No,
leaving the house ain't it.
But I'm pumped, dude. I'm fucking pumped. Now we're gonna have like 3 or 4 kids with us, but like
that'll hit. Yeah. So you also said watch, you have plenty of Disney content. I know you're gonna do that. I'm telling myself it's like this little Central Coast trip. It's like try to get some video of some of it, and then I can do voiceover about. I was thinking like, this is like California wine country. It's just like advanced white. This is like advanced white people shit. And
just film it and send it to me, and I'll do something with it.
Well, I was thinking about doing like, Hillbilly does California wine country stuff. I just get some, but I won't. I got a whole other thing I'm trying to do that's also kind of POAE, but I don't even want to tell you in case it don't work out. If it does work out, then you'll see it. But anyway, I'm about to have to go to TreyCrowder.com, check out my stuff, and check, come see me. I got to go do a thing with Mark and producer Matt.
All right, bonuscorey.com. Stay fancy, motherfuckers. We'll do airmail next week. Puttingonairs@gmail.com. Love y'all. Talk to you later. Bye. I love you, Trey.
Love you too.
Here's Lydia Loveless.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Puttin' on Airs. Puttin' on Airs. Puttin' on Airs. Puttin' on Airs.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We got out in such a hurry that I totally forgot to promote the fact that me and Lady Kirby are back with Little House of the Dragon Season 2. It is obviously on this platform, whether you be watching on YouTube or whether you be listening on a podcast app. However, some of you may have just not seen it. Some of you may download these episodes at random. Just letting you know, Season 2 of Little House of the Dragon, a House of the Dragon rewatch podcast, is out now. First episode, at least, with me and my sister, Lady Kirby. And for those of you who say shit on YouTube, yes, that is exactly how she talks. That is her accent. Kiss my ass. All right. See you. Bye.
Putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. We collected from our love of Downton Abbey. We collected, we found out we're both so fancy. Hey, what's the difference between rednecks and royal families? Only money, cause they both have sex with family. Ew. Putting on airs. What other rednecks to talk about foreign affairs? Laughing so hard that we end up falling out our chairs. Sir Trae, Sir Corey, oh what a pair. High class topics with a redneck flair, oh yeah. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Okay, it's Team Squirrel or Team Trae. Oh yeah, we keeping it basic. He thinks that the squirrels at Corey's mom's house are racist. And you know squirrels live in the same place for generations. So Trae, you better count your days and you better count your blessings. Cause all the squirrels that you ran over, that you think are nameless, faceless, their families are getting together and plotting on you from the attic and basement. So even though Corey is dumb, fat, and bald, he knows how to avoid drama, don't get squirrels involved. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs.